Okay, a very warm welcome to you all out there in the world. My name is Federico Ree and I'm the host of InspireTalk. In today's interview, we are still continuing the Aussie disruptors and unveiling the minds of 5 entrepreneurs that have disrupted their industry. And particularly today, we will be looking at the entertainment sector. And joining me today is my very, very special guest, is Clare Dea. How are you, Clare?
Woo! Hey, Federico, I'm really well. How are you?
I love that that introduction. I'm fabulous, and by the sound of things, you are too. So look, it's an absolute pleasure and honour to have you join us today for this intimate chat. So I guess really what I'd like to do today is dig deep into your mindset and really understand the journey that you've taken as an entrepreneur, but also an expert in the entertainment industry. And before I say too much more, I'd like to really introduce you in the following way, because I've read a lot about you, Clare, and by the way of looking at your career path, you're a performer, you're a speaker, and you're a creative mentor, helping coaches and artists shine in their industry. Now, you're also the founder of Flying Free Productions that enables people to share their authentic story and develop the skills to free themselves in different areas of life and business. Now, from my point of view, Clare, you're an entrepreneur and a serial disruptor in the world of entertainment. You've positively influenced many young aspiring actors, singers, coaches, and entrepreneurs, helping them realize their career ambitions and aspirations. Now, what a mouthful there, Clare. You've certainly accomplished a lot in a number of years. I take my hat off to what you've done so far. And I guess I'd like to sort of hear it from your own perspective and for you to share your insights to that journey and really what you've got out of that, and obviously to inspire other aspiring entrepreneurs who are listening in. So I guess my first question, Clare, is why did you get involved in the entertainment industry going back day dot?
Well, I first would just like to thank you, Federico, for this opportunity to speak with your audience. I'm feeling really honoured and privileged. So before we move into my story, I would just, love to acknowledge you, because I'm really inspired with what you're doing for entrepreneurs out there. So thank you so much. Yeah. So what's inspired me? Well, I pretty much started dancing the moment I popped out of the womb. From the age of 4, I wanted to be a prima ballerina. I wanted to be famous and a star. And I wanted to be on Johnny Young Talent Time. And so I, from a very young age, started training as a ballet dancer and did jazz and tap. And then something really happened that really shifted my world. My dad lost his job, and that meant that my parents could no longer pay for my dance classes anymore. And that was when my inner entrepreneur was born. I had seen a boy at my local shopping centre busking, playing the violin. And yes. I was learning the recorder at school, and I was like, I can make money playing an instrument. So from the age of 8 to 16, I went down to the local shopping centre and I played the recorder for all the locals, and I started making money doing what I love to be able to pursue what I love. So that was my first step into entrepreneurship and really putting myself out there as a performer. And then at about the age of 16, I realised it really wasn't cool as a teenager to be at the local shopping centre playing the recorder. And I thought there had to be another way to actually make money doing what I loved. So at the age of 16, I opened up my first business, and it was called the Victorian Dance Studio. And that was my way to be able to share my passion for the arts and for choreography with teenagers and children in the local community.
Wow.
And so I had the Victorian Dance Studio for Oh, it was about 7 years, but I actually started getting pretty jealous of my students because they were starting to really shine and going out there and making an impact in the world. And I realized that I was playing a really small game. I wasn't really stepping into my own performer and star archetype that my little girl knew was my destiny. So I then closed the dance school and started a full-time professional performing career. So I worked as an actor, singer, dancer in musical theatre, film, TV, and I was doing a musical called How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And I got a really bad review. It said that she's fake, forced, and unbelievable. And I'm sure that all your audience out there can understand how impactful that
And
review.
let me just throw in a few of my thoughts there. It's always good to have the skeptics out there, and I guess they kind of force you to reflect on your own message and what you're trying to do. And I see the positive to that. So good on the skeptics. We need them out there.
Well, that's exactly what happened, was that it made me ask some really potent questions. I started asking myself, well, what is real? What is believable? What is authentic? And so then I went on a real journey of personal development, and I found the Meisner acting technique. And that really took me on a journey of discovering that all of our characters live within the self. We have all infinite possibility living within us. And learning the Meisner acting technique really then inspired me to step into my full potential and to be able to integrate all of who I am. So I was an entrepreneur, I was a performer, I was a mentor, and I was like, wow, I could actually start to integrate all of this together. But what really stopped me and was a challenge was, here I was sharing authentic relating practices. I was teaching performers how to be real and believable on screen, on stage. However, I wasn't sharing my own truthful story. So
Sure.
I'm actually
Yeah.
have something. I have something called Poland syndrome, and my left hand side of my body is smaller than my right hand side, and I was born without my left pec, and because of that, my left breast never developed. And as I'm sure your audience can relate, that when you're a teenager, you just want to fit in, you want to be perfect. As a female, you really want to feel beautiful and feminine. And I just felt like a freak. And I made a pact with myself that I would never tell anyone my secret, my story. And so here I was sharing all these authentic relating practices, but I wasn't actually sharing my story. So that led
Yeah.
me to actually write my first book, The One Breast Goddess, Transforming Shame into Beauty. And that then really launched me into becoming a leader. And so from then I just got really juiced up to help other entrepreneurs to be able to brand and market themselves with their own truthful story.
That's certainly a very attractive introduction, Claire, and it's without a doubt an inspiration to a lot of people out there that look at your humble beginnings and also the challenges that you faced, not only on a business level but also on a personal health level. And it was interesting for you to have noted or felt that there was some kind of entrepreneurial path ahead of you, and for you to have explored that at such a young age. And often you hear these cliche stories of the young of those serial entrepreneurs that have gone out and done what they did. You know, your cliche stories like Richard Branson, and yours is very much similar to that. And I guess what I take from that is that it's about having a passion, having a vision, having a direction, and really exploring your potential. And certainly you've explored your potential across so many different platforms, and your career so far has been extremely diversified. I guess I want to ask you the next question about the challenges that you faced starting out, and also the challenge of being so diversified and having actually so many skills, so many talents, but actually finding your hotspot, I guess, or the area that you believe is what resonates the most to your clients or to the audience out there. How do you deal with those type of talents that you have?
Oh, wow. Well, there's sort of two questions there. So firstly, I think the biggest challenge I had starting off in business and throughout my journey of being an entrepreneur, and still to this day, is still maybe one of my biggest challenges, is because I am such a creative and I do have all of these creative skills. I don't have as much systems and structures that actually come really easily to me. And because of that, I also, I guess, didn't have really the knowledge how to be able to leverage my business and how to maximize my profit. And so it always got to a stage with all of my businesses, with the Victorian Dance Studio that I had for 6-7 years. And I also ran an acting company, Meisner Melbourne. And then I had an online talk show, The Actors Process. And each time I came up against this wall because I didn't have the systems and structures in place to be able to maximize my profit. And so that's the journey that I'm also going through at the moment, is because now I'm stepping into my Clare Elizabeth D brand and starting Flying Free Productions. And I want to collaborate with so many people and joint venture and have a global impact. And to be able to do that, you need to be really organized. And so that is definitely my message for all creatives out there. I teach the 3 keys to presence a lot to creatives. And I say key number 1 is inner awareness. Key number 2 is outer awareness. But key number 3 is organization. And you need to have systems and structures in place so your creativity can flow. So that's what I suggest for everyone out there listening or watching, is make sure that you are very connected to the truth of who you are. You really connect to your audience, but you also create systems and structures so that your business can thrive.
Look, it's interesting you talk about that, because from my experience dealing with a lot of creatives in my career, the truth is that creatives are kind of on one spectrum of that scale, and on the other side are the pragmatic, technical people who see things in black and white, and therefore they are good at the systems and the procedures. But it can erode the joy and the passion in the process of doing what you want to do. So I guess it's a matter of balancing the two, like you've suggested or experienced so far. So turning our attention, I guess, to what you're doing specifically at the moment with your new venture, Flying Free Productions, I guess I want to put a spin on that in terms of the disruption side, because that's essentially the focus of this series. How are you disrupting the industry now that you're establishing this new venture?
So I am disrupting the industry in the way that I am bringing all of me to my business and my vision. No one else can create this product because it's coming from all of who I am. And then I'm also joint venturing and collaborating with other creatives that are bringing all of them to the collaboration. So no one else can actually create this product. So what Flying Free Productions is a way that I can actually integrate all of my performing experience, all of my coaching experience, all of my entrepreneurship, and create a platform for other creatives out there, other coaches, other entrepreneurs, other performers, to get their message seen out there so they can shine in their industry and meet other people and be able to joint venture and collaborate, because that's the way that you disrupt the marketplace. You need to find a really great team that work well together, that have the same values, that are on the same path. And you're not seeing your competition as competition. You're actually looking at your competition and you're saying, well, I could work with you, because if our values are the same and we have a similar audience, we can actually work together so we can all thrive. So
Claire, I love your ethos, because collaboration is the new currency of the 21st century. And I've heard this expression shared by many serial entrepreneurs that I'm meeting these days. It's not so much critical to have the venture capital full stop, but it's actually more about collaborating and having those strategic partnerships, which kind of leads me to the next question of how important are those strategic partnerships for you as compared to, in your case, the venture capital, or being that influential leader that you are? So putting those three side by side, and I know it's a challenging question to answer, do you have a top favorite, or what are your insights on all three?
well, for me, strategic partnership is definitely what rings true for me, because I ran the Victorian Dance Studio by myself, and then I ran Meisner Melbourne by myself, and then I ran the Actors Process by myself. And so I was very limited because I only had the people that resonated with me coming in to my business. While now with strategic partnership, I can attract in a larger audience, because the people that I'm working alongside have a fan base that share similar values and need my services. And it's just more fun. At the end of the day, entrepreneurship should be fun, and it shouldn't be a lonely pursuit. Like, for me, I love catching up with my strategic partners or Skyping and connecting and developing a relationship and feeling like we're all in this together.
Great. So what are your thoughts on venture capital? Is it overrated?
I don't say it's overrated. It's definitely, if you can get the venture capital, and it can definitely help you get ahead perhaps a lot quicker. But then if you don't actually have the support system around you and people who are in alignment with who you are, I think that you'll definitely come across some roadblocks.
So I guess it's being resourceful. You might have the cash, but if you don't know how to use it effectively, it may not necessarily yield the outcome that you desire. And being an influential leader, you're a good communicator without a doubt. You have a very big fan base, especially through Facebook and so forth. How important for you has the leadership been, or being an influential communicator in your market?
I think it's everything. And for me, it's about the practice of being able to connect to my audience and actually see where they're truthfully at, seeing where their voids are, and really listening to my audience, and then creating products and services that they need, and to be able to communicate it in a way that they can hear. And so effective communication is so important. And it's not just effective communication with how you speak, it's also your presence. I teach entrepreneurs and coaches, creatives, performers, a process or a practice called authentic confidence, which is another way of being able to really hear and communicate with your fan, being connected to the truth of who you are and being able to connect to them.
Great. I'm really getting almost hypnotized by your great advice and your experiences. I find them very relevant even in my own profession. So I'm taking a lot of notes here, Claire.
Thank you.
A pleasure. So I guess talent is another area that often gets raised in developing that formula to success, but also education. So if we put talent and education side by side, what's your perspective on the two?
Well, I have a funny relationship with the word talent. Sanford Meisner, who created the acting technique that I was teaching for years, he said acting is the ability is not the talent, but is the ability. And I really believe that you can learn how to do anything if you put your mind to it. However, I like to see talent as creative inspiration. If you feel joy, you feel passion for something, then people will resonate with that. Like for me, my biggest passion is being on a stage and speaking and singing. And I do not have the strongest technique when it comes to being a singer. I have worked my butt off for 10 years, classes after classes, and I'm still not Beyonce. I still don't have the most amazing technical voice, but my talent is my essence, is my truth, is my presence. So when I stand on stage, it's not about my technical talent. It's about me standing in my truth, who I authentically am, and how I can connect with my audience. And then when you're connecting with your audience, they don't care about the technique or the talent. They want to feel good, and they want to know that you're providing value. So for me, it's about, are you a person who can provide value for your ideal client?
Wow. Okay. Fantastic stuff here. So Claire, it's really, amazing to see that, your journey so far has helped you realize these realities, I guess, if that's a good way to put it. So I guess to be successful in your industry and to disrupt, what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, what I'm observing from your story is that really there isn't one single thing that prevails in achieving that level of success. It really is a combination of talent, forming those strategic partnerships, and being an excellent communicator, and really being able to connect with your target market, your audience. And in your case, that seems to be your formula to success. And I guess with every industry, it might differ. I guess in your industry of entertainment, communication and inspiring people is a big part to your work, isn't it?
Yes.
So I guess looking at the entertainment sector as such, putting, I guess, your success aside for a moment, if we look at other aspiring actors or coaches or entrepreneurs that are looking at entering your marketplace, how challenging is it, or what opportunities do you envisage over the coming years in Australia for others to do what you've done and somewhat compete?
I just think there are so many possibilities for people in the entertainment industry at the moment. So I'll start with the entertainment industry, is that thanks to the internet, you can now, as an actor, have a monologue scene in a moment. As a singer, you can put your song up on YouTube, Instagram. There's just so many avenues to be seen and heard in a powerful way that for me, I didn't have that. There was no such thing as Facebook or Instagram or Snapchat, for example, when I was a teenager and even into my 20s. So I just think there's just so much possibility. And now that there's Netflix and Stan, and they're looking for people to create their own work. And I think that's what's really exciting, is that you don't have to sit at home and wait for an opportunity. You can actually create your own opportunity. And if you follow strategic paths to get yourself seen and heard, then the right opportunities, the right people will find you, and then anything is possible. So
Absolutely.
I just think we're living in an amazing time.
We certainly are, and technology plays a big part to that, but also on the side to that is social media. And I know that you are very prominent in the social media space. My other question is, and it's not scripted in the questions, but it's relevant, is can anyone survive without social media these days?
It's really funny. My website developer actually said to me, Claire, what would happen if Facebook was destroyed tomorrow? And I went, wow. I have definitely committed a lot of my time and energy to my Facebook followers. And it was funny, on Sunday, I taught a branding and marketing workshop. And I said, you want to be clever and date different social media outlets. So, you know, do a bit of Twitter, do a bit of Facebook, do a bit of Snapchat, and then see where you find committed audiences. And for me, I've tasted all of the social media, but for me, I've really committed to Facebook. But as my website developer said to me, he's like, you want to make sure that you're not just committed to Facebook. Make sure that you still have their email, have their phone number, you have another way to contact them, so that if social media just tomorrow goes, you have other ways to connect.
Absolutely. And I guess you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket or be at the mercy of that social media host to control all your intellectual property.
Yeah. And for me, still, I make more of an impact live, at an event live, when I'm speaking to someone one-on-one, or I'm up on a stage, and yeah, nothing can beat that. So even though social media is amazing and I'm so grateful for it and it creates so many opportunities, I also want your audience to hear there is nothing more powerful than actually face-to-face contact, really connecting with a person. And if you get the opportunity to speak live at an event or up on a stage, take it. Get the skills to learn how to do that, because that is the way to make an impact and disrupt, is actually get your voice heard and be seen in your industry.
Great advice. So I guess I can phrase that as develop real relationships and don't completely rely on social media to do all the work in forming those relationships. I'm conscious of time, Claire, and I do have a couple of questions to go. And I guess looking at the future, if you know, with a bit of foresight, where do you see the entertainment industry, or perhaps your niche market, evolving over the coming years? And in particular, how is it to impact people's lives on a positive note? Like how will your work and those that are involved in the industry help other people? And that's a very philosophical question I'm asking.
Well, I think it's a similar answer to the last question. I just feel like that thanks to social media and that we have these platforms to be able to create our own work, I think that's what's going to continue to happen. I feel like people are going to have more freedom to not follow the old paradigm and actually create their own reality. They're going to create their dream reality. If they actually put in the work, they follow the steps, they follow their heart. And if they do that, they can really connect to their vision. Like, why are you here? What can you create that will last longer than you will live? What is your legacy? And when you really connect to that, and then just every single day you work, you take action steps towards what you want to create, then I just feel like anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So before I ask my last question, Claire, I'd like to summarize some of your favorite hot tips or perhaps quotes that you've spoken about, and I've taken note of those. Be organized with systems and procedures. Joint venturing and collaboration is key. Have a support network. Listen to your audience. Provide value. And I threw one at the end, develop real relationships. So there's a lot of good tips there for the listeners. And my last question, Claire, is about exactly what you do with your current venture, Flying Free Production. So if someone wanted to get hold of you, how would they do that? And specifically, what are the products and services that you can offer?
So I would love to connect with your audience. So the first thing they can do is connect with me on Facebook. As I said, I have a very committed relationship to Facebook, so they can find me at Clare Elizabeth D. And the other thing they can do is check out my website, and that's clared.com. And I would love to hear from them if they feel like there's any way that we could collaborate, we can create a relationship. I would love to hear from them. The product I'm really excited about at the moment that I feel like your audience would really benefit from is my new audio program, Authentic Confidence. And it is the presence practice that I still use every day. I go for a walk, I come home and I do this presence practice before I actually start the rest of my work day. And what happens is it just really connects me to the truth of who I am. It really connects me to my vision, to my purpose, and it gets me really focused and grounded for the day. And I even use it, for example, with my photographer, with my videographer, for my creative director. And we actually do this practice before we shoot anything, because also I suggest this for anyone that's about to go on stage or shoot a video. It really helps to magnetize your presence, and so that you can have a larger impact. And I'm guessing that most of your audience out there are wanting to make an impact with their message. And for me, the foundation of that is really knowing who you truthfully are and being really present and grounded in the now. So it's a 17-minute practice. I suggest people do it about 5 times a week, so they actually create that daily habit. And then whenever they're going to shoot a video or go on stage or pitch a product, I suggest doing it just to really get you grounded and centered. So yeah, I hope that could help some of your audience members out there.
Absolutely. What a great product you've got there. And I'm sure that our listeners will be looking at your website soon and seeing how they can acquire that CD compilation, Authentic Confidence. So without saying too much more, Claire, I'd like to, I guess, finish up this this transmission and again give you a big thank you for your time and your insights. And we'll go off air in just a moment. So thanks again.
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to seeing where InspireTalk goes and connecting to your audience.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.